You know, I haven't made a video for a few days because ain't nothing really interesting been going on. And stuff that has, I don't think anybody wants to hear me bitch about. So I'm going to put out at the end of this, I had one other video I made, but I thought I could add more to it. It's going to be about a week old, so. But I got some information that people might be interested in it for that. But what I came up with, I figure I can add to that video. I think I finally got the option to get this thing fixed. For those who haven't been around here, this tractor's been sitting for a year, almost, because I broke the drawbar support. Here, and this piece over here is cracked. I had a welding shop come out here last year, portable welder, and he didn't think he could get this hot enough to be able to bend it back over, which didn't make sense to me because I got a torch and I can make that hot enough to be two pieces. When I took that to be fixed, the bale spear, I talked to that shop, and I had pictures of this, and they kind of hem and hawed around, and a little bit leery whether it would hold up. So like I say, they were kind of hesitant about wanting to do it. So they say probably better off finding a junk one. So that's what I've been doing, looking up, I got one junkyard I would deal with. And if you have a part number, they're pretty good about finding stuff. So I got online and I got an AGCO parts book and looked up that drawbar support for a white 270 and came up with part number 108080A. So, well, for the hell of it, I'll go to eBay. I typed that number in and one popped up, a used one. $272. And I forget offhand what the shipping would have been on it or whatever. I don't even know if I looked at it that close. I was just scanning around because I found one. So for the hell of it, I typed that number into Google search because there's places out there make aftermarket parts and they'll match up numbers. You know, sometimes you get hit on this stuff, and a hit came up. And it was listed as a heavy-duty drawbar support. And it was over from Maybaws. They're an AGCO dealer over in Creston, Ohio. I think it's Creston. Crest something. So I'm looking at it, and it's built. It's a little bit different than this one. Instead of having this jog out here, this just comes straight down on both sides. And by the looks of it, it all comes up here for your 3-point hitch and everything. The only difference is instead of being like this down here, where this is supposed to be a rolling drawbar, there's a hanger with a roller on it that you can let it sway on there. It's more like this one, like what's on the Ford here. Heavy bar across the bottom, cap across the top like that. It's got a series of holes in there, pins you put through to keep it from moving around. So, but it's painted green, which is no big deal, because I had a feeling that all this is the same as an Oliver tractor, was the same as a 1650, 55, 17, whatever. I figured it'd have to be matched up, because a lot of the parts are interchangeable between them. So I called over there today to ask them if they knew. Because like I say, they're coming up using that part number. And I asked him about it, he actually said 1650 because he's asking another guy. So I wanted to know if it would fit a white 270. And I heard him talking back and forth. And like I say, that was the part number to using this for an Oliver. And that's the part number that came up for the white. So it should be interchangeable. And they said it should be. Now they make them over there. Because that's why I asked him. I said, is this something you guys stock, or you got to order in? He says, no, he says they got 6 of them there. And like I say, when they get down to one, he says they make more. He says they got, I forget if he said a water jet or laser cutter. They cut them all out, weld them all up, and they're ready to go. $495. So to me, that's a little bit better price than, or that's a good enough price to be comparable to a $272 used one that may be cracked like this one. It sounds like if they're making this heavy duty drawbar that there is an issue with these breaking like this from side or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do as soon as I get a chance to run over there, because like I say, the piece that hangs there, I broke that what, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I got a video somewhere about it from the bagger, because that's so tongue heavy. And that right there is a brush hog blade that I cut a chunk out of, burnt some holes through, put some grade 8 bolts down through there, and tightened it up on there, and it was good. And then now, like I say, last year I was backing up the TMR mixer, and mixer was coming back about like this, and the wheel dropped into a frozen rut, and when it hit, it just jammed everything that way. And like I said, that's what cracked that, broke that. So that's the way I'm going to go. The only thing I'm not sure about on it is if these sway blocks will work on it. They show a different one on the picture. They just show a humped out one instead of mine's got a cup to it a little bit, which makes no difference to me. I'm sure if these don't fit, I can put a couple 2x4s or something in there to take some of the sway out. Or I could even take the 3-point hitch off. I mean, the only thing I've ever been using this 3-point hitch for is a 3-point hitch fertilizer spreader to top dress some hay fields or something. And if that's the case, my brother's got a 50-horse Kubota over there. I can borrow and use that for what little I do that with. So like I said, the 3-point hitch is not what's important on this tractor. It's that drawbar that I gotta get fixed. And like I said, I asked him about shipping, and he kind of thinks I'll have to go truck freight. So like I said, if it could have gone UPS for 70 or 80 bucks, I'd be fine with that. Truck freight, you know, it's roughly 145 miles from here. So it comes up right around 2.5 hour drive, depending which direction you want to go. So it's a matter of time, me getting time, you know, going to have 5-6 hours. I can take a run over there and back. Next thing I'll have to do to get this tractor going, I'll have to get a new seat for it. That's all rusted out, busted out now. That's no big deal. I can get that at Tractor Supply. I think that's probably where that one came from. They used to be like 80 bucks, or probably like 120 now. I'll have to get my tire back off the Ford, because the one front tire on that Ford wouldn't hold air last year. I've had 2 tubes put in it. I've had it patched a half dozen times, and it still keeps leaking air. So I don't know if I got something in there that nobody can find. I'm about ready to buy a new tire for it, and so I can get that tire back on here, which if I want to use a tractor, I got to. So that's going to be the goal for now. I don't know just how soon until I can get over there. I really ain't looking forward to it. If there was a different option, I might consider it, but like I say, someday here, I mean, it ain't bad. It just depends. One direction takes me up to 90, down towards Cleveland, and then down through. I don't know if that's better that way or going south to get onto 80 and shooting across. So I don't know, it's better to head, now take me through Akron, so I don't know. One's better than the other or not, but they are about the same mileage. So I guess it's about that on this here. They say finally got an option to get this thing back running. I'll tack on the other video I made there a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago, and then about make a normal length video that I normally put out, so we should be good on that. That'll be 2 projects I can have caught up on somewhat. So, but I guess find something else to do. Boring jobs I got to do, I'm sure nobody was interested in. So we'll get back to you later. Yeah, I'm just doing a quick job, or what should have been a quick job. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Probably took me 45 minutes. I just replaced the block heater in the skid steer. Now, it didn't turn this way because it burnt out. I'm pretty sure it's burned out because I've had problems starting it here lately after I plugged it in, which made me believe it was blown out. Maybe I should have read the instructions first. I had to read the instructions to get that one in, but I couldn't understand why they had this nut on there. Saw no purpose in it. Well, they say when I took this out, I'm cranking it out. Well, here, this twisted in there. As you can see, this collar slides back. And this is what makes no sense with engineers. I think just for John Deere, but it's a John Deere skid steer, so it's how they're being stupid. This thing is actually has a slight hook to it. Now, why they couldn't just cast that in there, knowing if that's where they're going to put the block heater, just a straight pass. But no, there is a bulge in the casting in there. So what you have to do, your plug pins have to be up and down. And this actually, hooking this way, that's the way you got to put it in. So because of that hook, the bulge in that casting, you can't just screw this in. So you have to, that's what this nut does. It jams against this to hold it in place. But you got to put this nut on here. And then you get that in there where it's supposed to hook. And you start threading this plug in. And you got to hold this to keep it from turning while you're screwing this in. So basically you can't put a socket on it. The wrench that fits it is, which one is it? This one here. It's an 1 5/16. So you got this bulge here in the intake, or the head. And by the time you get in here, you're hitting this. You can only move it part way. And you're hooking onto this nut, so you want to turn that element with it instead of just turning this. So you basically take it a little turn at a time, and then you got to turn this body piece back some so you don't turn it too far and hit in there and end up twisting the element. Miserable. And they say the size wrench you need in there is too big for everything. And then when you're done, what you're supposed to do is, after this is screwed in, you hold on to this body piece while it's still backed in there a little bit. You turn it all the way to the right until it touches something. You feel it touch. Turn it all the way to the left until you feel it touch something. And then you get it somewhere in the middle. And then you got to tighten this down. And again, trying to hold this piece from spinning where you got nothing to hold on here to. You can't get the plug in there to help hold it until you get some threads back there. So I'm hoping I got it. Should be somewhat centered, not touching anything. That's the biggest thing. That's not touching anything. I don't know if I got that stuff tight enough. I don't see nothing leaking here yet. But why? They just can't have something simple where you have room to spin the whole thing in, or like on the Ford and in the International, they have the same style. It goes in the frost plugs. And then you just stick it in there, get it lined up where it's not something that's got a screw on it. It's got a piece that pulls back and spreads out and wedges against the block of the motor to hold it together. I just don't get it. Why they got to make that so complicated. But I'm hoping, it bothers me, I can't hear it hissing or anything. You can usually hear these things heating up. One time I think I hear it, next time I don't. I'm hoping it does, because they're talking lows of -1 here by this weekend. So I got to have that, get this thing started. So, and plus the other problems I got a leaking radiator. And there ain't much I can do about it. I mean, it's just one of them things because of all the mud and stuff out there. You clean it out, but it sucks stuff up, blows it around no matter how much you clean it out. So that's just, like I say, it's just fight on everything here, but like I say, the simplest stuff, and they gotta make it complicated. So at least ain't too bad to get to. Lift the cab up to get to it, but so I'm gonna let this heat for a while, see if I do get some warmth in there. If not, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. So I guess go find some other project to do in the meantime. Now the other thing I'll add to this is a problem of getting that thing. You know, I got three John Deere dealers within 50 miles of me. 4 if you want to count the construction. You know, I got one John Deere, and the 3 ag equipment dealers, they're all the same dealership now, which I hate. But I got one about 6 miles from me, one about 20 miles, and one about 45, 50 miles within that range. And you can go on John Deere's website, get into the parts. You know, I looked this up, and you put it in a shopping cart. You can order that parts that way. You can put it in a shopping cart, and then you can go from dealer to dealer, and usually, I don't know how much they update it, but it'll give you whether, it'll tell you if it's in stock. My suggestion is to call them before you just run off if it does say it's in stock. But anyway, none of them showed that in stock. I didn't even look at the construction one because I got to go through a different menu, change the criteria, and then authorize this. It's a little bit of a hassle. Maybe I should just went over there, but I found this out too. 9 times out of 10, the construction end of it, exact same part numbers, more money. So, but anyway, through them 3 dealers, they didn't have it. It was $113. So I took the part number, went on eBay, typed it in. One popped up, one place. They had 3 of them, $113. Free shipping. Now, like I said, go through the John Deere dealer. A lot of times they add shipping. Like I say, if I wanted to order it and have it the next day, usually there's shipping on it. So that's more of a cost. Or you could have it on the stock order and it doesn't cost enough, much more. But you might have to wait a week to get it. Now on here, it's the same price. Being eBay's new policies and stuff, I don't know if I could send in an exemption, but I had to pay sales tax on it. So it was another $6.75 or something. And I figured, well, that's about what's going to cost me for shipping to get it sent to the dealer. And I had it in 2 days delivered to me, so that's what I did. It's John Deere part, same thing. You know, it wasn't like it was an aftermarket company or everything. Same part number. They changed it in the book. Like say, I don't think you can't. If I remember right, you can't buy the whole thing where you got all this. What I had there, the body, that plug, the cord. What else? There's one other item with it. Didn't sell the whole thing as a kit. You can buy the cord separate. You can buy this separate and whatever. But I didn't need the cord anyhow. All I needed was this. So like I say, I just hope it heats up. So like I say, on to the next job. Yeah, I guess I'll wrap this up. There ain't nothing else went on today worth noting. So I'll wrap this up so I can get something posted here for tonight. Today wasn't too bad of a day, I guess. Rained all night and most of the morning, so it's mud hole again. They also had a high wind advisory up. Well, they still do until 3 a.m. this morning coming. They said up 55 mile an hour winds, and look, so far we haven't seen nothing like that, so that's good. But I guess, like I say, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Give me subscribe. Seems my subscriptions have dropped off, especially since I badmouthed solar panels. I ain't getting as many subscribers. I guess I'm not that well liked anymore, because I speak something I believe in. But you guys probably can't see it. There's 2 deer out there. First ones I've seen here for the last couple weeks. But anyway, I guess I gotta get feed mixed here before it gets too much darker. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you all again.